My girlfriend humiliated me in front of her friends by saying, "What do you think? That I'd actually bring you home to meet my parents?" I smiled calmly at everyone, replied, "You won't have to," then stood up, settled the bill, and left the restaurant. That same night, her best friend called me, and the shocking secret she shared left me stunned. "Thank you so much. I'm 32 years old and had been with Natalie for 3 years. Until last Tuesday, I believed our relationship was strong. Not flawless, but steady and reliable. We first met at a charity marathon where I was volunteering at a water station. She had twisted her ankle close to the finish line. I assisted her to the medical area, we chatted for a while, and that led to grabbing coffee a few days later. Everything just fell into place after that. She had a job in marketing, while I was working as a freelance graphic designer after leaving my previous agency position. We kept our own places but spent nearly every weekend together. Her apartment was better than mine, and her parents came from wealth, unlike my family. I never saw that as a problem. Last Tuesday flipped everything upside down. We were at a fancy bistro in the city center. Natalie had asked me to join her for dinner with some college friends I had only heard about before. 3 women, Lauren, Melissa, and Christy, all well-dressed and sophisticated. I arrived wearing jeans and a button-down shirt, which seemed appropriate for a relaxed meal. Apparently, it wasn't. The talk began ordinarily enough. They discussed their careers, an upcoming Napa getaway, and a wedding one of them was organizing. I mostly stayed quiet, adding remarks when it felt right. Then Melissa brought up our relationship. "So Natalie, when are you going to make things official? When will you introduce him to Richard and Patricia?" Natalie let out a sharp laugh, not a warm one. "Oh God, can you picture that?" I glanced at her, puzzled. "What?" She sipped her wine, looked at her friends, then back at me. "I mean, seriously, what do you expect? That I'd ever take you to meet my parents?" The table fell silent. Lauren stared at her food. Christy tried to suppress a grin. Melissa watched me closely, curious about my response. My face grew warm, but I kept my expression steady. "That's interesting. Don't take it that way," Natalie said, brushing it off with a wave of her hand. "You know they have high standards. They'd never get it. This. You understand what I mean. You're nice and everything, but you're not really the kind they'd accept." "No offense." I placed my napkin down, took out my wallet, and left cash to cover my portion plus a generous tip. Then I smiled at her friends and at her. "You won't need to," I said softly. "What does that mean?" Natalie asked, sounding less sure now. "Exactly what it sounds like." I walked out without looking back. I ignored her text that came 10 minutes later asking if I was serious. When she called, I blocked her number. Later that evening, around 9 p.m., an unknown number rang my phone. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but something told me to answer. "Hello, is this you?" "God, I can't believe I'm calling." The voice sounded nervous and female. "This is Christy, from dinner." My stomach nodded. "Okay, look, I know this feels strange, but I have to tell you something. After you left, we all criticized Natalie for what she said. It was harsh, even for her. But then Lauren got tipsy and started laughing about something else. Melissa tried to stop her, but it slipped out anyway." "What slipped out?" Christy paused and took a deep breath. "Natalie's engaged." Everything seemed to shift. "What?" "She's been engaged for 6 months. To a guy named Trevor. He's a lawyer at her father's firm. Their families have been close for years. The wedding plans started over a year ago, from what I heard. The ceremony is in 3 months. I sat down heavily on my couch, feeling lightheaded. "That's impossible." I saw the ring. "She hides it in her bag whenever she's with you. She showed it to us at brunch last month. I assumed you knew. I figured you were just some side thing or whatever. But when I saw how hurt you looked tonight, I realized you had no clue. Why are you telling me this?" "Because what she's doing is wrong. She's been using you as a kind of rebellion before she settles down with Trevor." Lauren finds it funny. Melissa sees it as smart. "I think it's cruel. You seem like a good person." "You deserve the truth." I couldn't find words for a second. "Does Trevor know about me?" "No, absolutely not. He's completely in the dark. He travels often for work, so she's had lots of chances to live both lives. Send me proof, I said. Screenshots, pictures, anything you have. I already sent them to this number before calling. Check your texts. I switched to messages and saw 3 attachments. Natalie wearing a large diamond ring. Natalie and a tall blonde man kissing at what appeared to be a charity event, and a screenshot from a wedding planning site with their names and the date. June 14th, my God. I'm sorry, Christy said. For what it's worth, she's not a good person. We've known her since college and she's always acted this way. Spoiled. Manipulative. I should have spoken up earlier. Why didn't you? Because I'm a coward. And because Lauren and Melissa would have cut me off. But after tonight, I don't care anymore. Good luck. She ended the call. I spent the following 2 days investigating. I located Trevor's law firm online, his LinkedIn profile, and his Instagram. It was public, filled with photos of him and Natalie. Some went back 2 years. My whole time with her had overlapped with him. I felt nauseous, furious, foolish. Thursday afternoon, I made a new anonymous email and sent Trevor a message titled, "About your fiancé." I kept it straightforward. I explained that I'd been dating Natalie for 3 years. I attached screenshots of our messages, pictures of us together with dates, and even a photo of her extra toothbrush at my place. I stayed factual without being harsh. Sent at 2 p.m. By 6 p.m., my phone was flooded with calls from Natalie's number. I had unblocked it earlier to see what would happen. 17 calls, 32 messages. I didn't reply to any. The texts went from confused to furious to pleading. What did you do? Trevor just ended the engagement. You destroyed my life, you jerk. Please call me, we can work this out. My parents are losing it. How could you be so spiteful? I saved every single one. No response. Friday morning, Trevor called me directly. I need to meet you, he said. His tone was steady and professional, lawyer tone. Why? Because I need the full picture. She's telling people you're a stalker. That you faked all the evidence. I want to hear your version before deciding next steps. We met at a coffee shop close to his office. He arrived in a suit, looking worn out. I brought my laptop loaded with every receipt, email, and piece of proof I had. He reviewed it carefully. No interruptions, minimal reaction. When he was done, he shut the laptop and rubbed his eyes. 3 years, he said quietly. Yeah, I was about to marry her in 3 months. I know. I'm sorry. He gave a bitter laugh. Don't be. You saved me from the biggest mistake of my life. Her family is already talking about suing you, by the way, for defamation or harassment or whatever. They're panicking. Let them try. They won't. I warned them that if they pursued you, I'd make sure everyone in our circle learned exactly why the wedding ended. Her father is a partner at my firm, but I have enough support there that he can't act without facing consequences. What will you do now? I'm leaving the firm. I already have an offer from another company. Better salary too. As for Natalie, I told her family that any more contact from her and I'll get a restraining order. Her mother cried. Her father threatened me. Natalie just sat there silently. He stood up and offered his hand. Thank you, truly. I shook it. Take care. You too. The consequences spread quicker than I thought. Christy was right about their close social group. In a week, many of Natalie's acquaintances had heard some version of the story. Lauren and Melissa tried to twist it as me being obsessed and Trevor being too strict, but too many people had seen the actual evidence. Christy supported my side when asked, which cost her those friendships, but gained respect from others tired of Natalie's actions. I received some messages from shared friends. A few apologized for not noticing Natalie's true character. Others checked if I was all right. One guy I barely knew shared that his ex had done something similar and regretted not exposing it himself. I didn't feel triumphant, mostly exhausted. Natalie made one last attempt through a mutual friend named Greg. He called on a Wednesday night. Hey man, I know this is uncomfortable. But Natalie wanted me to relay a message. I'm not interested. Just listen for a minute. She says she's sorry. She says she messed up and wants to explain. Greg. She was engaged to another man for half our relationship. There's nothing left to explain. She said you wouldn't get it, that her family forced the engagement and she was trying to end it. I nearly laughed. If she wanted to end it, she wouldn't have chosen a wedding date and flowers. Tell her no, and don't contact me about her again. He didn't, 2 months later. Christy told me Natalie had relocated to Chicago. Her mother's sister apparently offered her a real estate job there. Trevor had made it very clear to their shared circles that he wanted no connection with her. The humiliation was overwhelming. Her parents tried to repair the damage by saying I had manipulated her, but most people who knew us both saw through it. The facts became clear once the timeline was examined. Trevor texted me once more around 6 weeks after our coffee meeting, just a brief note. Started at the new firm, life is much better. Hope you're doing well, I replied, glad to hear it. Same here, I meant it. I had taken on more projects, rebuilt my finances, even began seeing a therapist to process the betrayal. Not because I was destroyed, but to figure out how I missed the red flags, how I allowed someone to deceive me for so long. My therapist said something that stayed with me. People who lie at that level are skilled at separating parts of their life. It's not that you were gullible. It's that she was very experienced. That helped more than I expected. It's been 4 months since that dinner. I'm doing fine. Actually, better than fine. I reconnected with old friends I had drifted from during my time with Natalie. I started rock climbing again, an activity I had given up because she considered it too risky. I took on some creative projects purely for joy, not income. Christy and I met for coffee a few times. Nothing romantic, just as friends. She felt bad for not speaking up sooner, and I assured her I didn't hold it against her. She had done the right thing at the important moment. Natalie sent one last email 3 weeks ago. I almost trashed it unread, but curiosity got the better of me. I know you hate me, I don't blame you. I just wanted to say I did have feelings for you. I was weak, and I made decisions I can't undo. Trevor deserved better. You deserved better. I hope you find someone who treats you the way I should have. I'm sorry. I read it twice, then deleted it. No reply. Some people don't deserve a final conversation. They simply have to live with their choices. Several readers asked if I ever learned why she stayed with me so long while planning to marry Trevor. Honestly, I think Christy was correct. I was her act of defiance, her way of feeling some independence while her family planned her future. It doesn't justify anything, but it explains the twisted logic. Trevor and I aren't close friends, but we did have a beer together last month. We discovered we like similar music and both dislike people who waste others' time. He's seeing someone new, says he's moving carefully. Smart approach. For those wondering if I've dated since, yes. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing. I now know exactly what I want and what I refuse to accept. That's more valuable than I understood before.